Welcome back, handymen and women. It has been a heck of a day, but we're going to get right into this anyways. So I think a lot of y'all have noticed I've been putting out a lot more content on my channel lately. And the reason I've been able to do that is because of the sponsor of this video, 𝗬𝗪𝗪. Because I have them now, I'm able to actually take some time away from the business in order to get y'all the content that you need to start and run your handyman businesses. So 𝗬𝗪𝗪 is the software, the only software that I have used from day one of this business to run the entire business. And when I say the entire business, I mean everything. I don't have any other software for running this business because 𝗬𝗪𝗪 does everything. It does it well. It's custom designed for exactly the type of stuff that we're trying to do, and I find it to be just absolutely the best software you can have for this. And I mean that. You can go back in my older videos, and as you'll see, I've always talked about 𝗬𝗪𝗪 from day one. So they're sponsoring this video, and this video is specifically for me helping you go through the process of setting up your free trial and testing it out. I'm not going to tell you that you have to buy it or that you need to buy it, because the 𝗬𝗪𝗪 software is going to do that for you. The goal here today is for you to get your free trial started, which the link is in my description. So if you go to the description right now before we start, if you don't already have a free trial, click my link. You're going to get an exclusive discount for it, and it's going to show 𝗬𝗪𝗪 that's sponsoring me is helping get all of y'all on board, at least those of you who love the software, but trust me, it's going to be everybody. So the goal today is for you to get your free trial, get it set up so that you can use it, and what I want y'all to do is just start sending some stuff to your property managers in such a way that they can see what 𝗬𝗪𝗪 does and how 𝗬𝗪𝗪 works. They can see the client backend, because your clients now, your property managers from over here, are going to be able to actually look in, and they're going to see their jobs and the status of their jobs. They're going to be able to see estimates that you've written that they haven't approved yet. They're going to be able to do a whole lot from their end, and they appreciate that. I can tell you for sure every client I've had has loved the 𝗬𝗪𝗪 software. They don't have other handymen using it because most handymen are just using some kind of free stuff that they found online. And yes, it gets the job done, but they're not used to seeing somebody come in like a professional business. And being a professional business is really what this is all about. The whole point is you're not just a handyman. You're a business that solves problems for other businesses. So get your link, get that opened up. You can pause the video. But what you want to do is go get your free trial off of my link, and then we'll come back here and we're going to get started. I'm going to share this screen. So I also want to tell y'all, I do have a demo account that I'm going to be using in the future to show y'all how to do a whole lot of this. But I actually have a new project in mind for this channel that I'm about to kick off, and I'm going to need a separate 𝗬𝗪𝗪 account for that because I don't want to mix up everything I do on this channel with my actual handyman business. So what I'm going to do is I've already got an email set up. I'm going into the free trial the same way that y'all are. So you're going to see everything step by step, and you're going to set it up with me if you haven't already. And if you want to skip forward, if you've already got yours downloaded, go ahead and skip forward, and you can see the details in terms of how to set this software up. So it's going to ask for your email first. Mine is Bulletproof Handyman, instead of man, Bulletproof Handyman at gmail.com. Y'all can feel free to email me there if you want. And my password, let me click off of this just in case it shows anything. I don't need y'all seeing my password. There we go. Bring you back here. So get your email and your password in and click Start Free Trial. Go ahead and save that. Yep. Company name, Bulletproof Handyman. Full name, Ray Duke. Phone number, I'm going to click off of here again because I don't need y'all having my personal phone number. That doesn't seem like a good idea to just stick that out on YouTube for everyone to see. I'm going to click yes, I would like to receive SMS marketing notifications because I like knowing what 𝗬𝗪𝗪's doing all the time. Next. Alright, now I can bring you back. So if y'all clicked next, you're now going to be on the page that says select your industry, and our industry is going to be under trade, construction and contracting. Company size depends on your company. For me, it's going to be just me for this particular project that I'm opening it for. How would you describe your business? It is a full-time business. Click Next. What is your top priority right now? So all of these things are things that 𝗬𝗪 does. I do want to remind you all, the whole point of this, again, you need to outcompete your competition. You need to impress some property managers and make them understand that you're a legit business. You're not a Chuck with a truck going around town with a hammer and a roll of duct tape. You're a business that's going to solve their problems no matter what those problems are. So this software helps you appear as professional as you actually are. So we're going to go with Track Business Health, although you can put in any particular priority you want. Next. Where did you hear about us? I already knew about you. Done. Limited time offer. Now, I'm not trying to get y'all to just go ahead and buy it right out of the box. I want you to actually try it and see that it's worth the value. So I'm going to say no thanks because we're just going to go with a free trial here. Now it's setting everything up. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you all a few things that you're going to need to modify on yours in order to make it specifically the best software it can be for your property managers to view you as a very legit, very professional company and not just some guy. So here's what we're going to do. Very first thing is we're going to create a client, and this is where y'all need to start paying attention because there's a detail in here that you absolutely need to see. So for client details, I'm just going to make this up for the most part. Let's do Mr. Handyman, first name Handyman, last name Dandyman. Mr. Handyman, Dandyman. Company name is the same as the primary name, or it's not for you. It probably won't be. In fact, let's make it a different name. Handyman Dandyman LLC. How's that? Handyman Dandyman LLC is the company name, and we're going to unclick use company name as primary name because you may end up changing who you're dealing with in the company, but the company will stay the same. Phone number, we're going to have to make one up. I'm going to go with 256-789-1212. Hopefully this will work because it's going to recognize if that number can't receive SMS messages, which is another good feature, so you'll know that they can receive text messages or not. Email address, main. I'm going to go with my email address I just created for this video, so let's do bulletproofhandyman@gmail.com. Now this is where it gets important. Pay attention, look where my mouse is. Property details. You need to unclick billing address is the same as the property address. Now if y'all are working with homeowners, that's a different story. Typically the property address is also the homeowner's address. But we're working with property managers, so the billing address is going to be the property management company, but the property address, you're going to have hundreds of properties in here eventually, and you're going to create a new property for every job they send you. So you don't want the billing address to be the same as the property address. So let's go first fill out the billing address because this is for your client. And we'll just say 1234 South Brad Street. And the city, I don't know, what do you think about New York? State, New York. Zip code 65248. Let's see if it works. We're not putting a property in, remember, we're just creating a client. So this is our billing address for the client here. Save client. See if it takes this. Alright, it took it. Cool. So now that's all done. Don't worry about anything that's on the screen right now. You don't need to understand any of that. You've got your client created. So the next thing you want to do is go up to the top right, guys, where the gear icon is. This is your settings. Before you ever create any jobs, before you ever create any quotes, the first thing you do when you get this software, go to settings. And we're going to come over here. It's one of the many things that's my favorites about 𝗬𝗪 because I needed this. So when I first got started, one of the things that happened was my very first really big client came to me and said, hey, we need a spot on your invoice for this particular piece of information, and what it was is bill to. Their company policy was the invoices had to have a bill to section that's going to have the name of the owner of that rental home. So you're going to come over here and click custom fields right here, guys, custom fields. And under custom fields, you're not creating a client custom field, you're not creating a property custom field, you're going to start with quote, and just trust me on this, I'm going to show you as we create this why you start this custom field under quote rather than under job or invoice. So you come over to quote and you add field. This is going to apply to all quotes. Now here's the other very important thing I need y'all to pay attention to and not miss. This box that says transferable field. You want to click that. When you click transferable field, what that means is you're going to create the box on this quote, right? It's going to be a custom field that you're going to put the bill to information in. When you create that, if that quote gets converted into a job, because you clicked transferable field, you're going to have also on your job forms, it's going to have that same field, and then your invoice is going to have that same field. If you don't start all the way back at the quote, you can start, for example, you can start over on the job itself and create this field, but then it's not going to be on the quote. And then if you go back to the quote to create it later because they want it on the quote, then all of a sudden you're going to find that now you're going to have two of these fields on the future job. So start at the beginning, which is when we give an estimate. You want to click transferable field. Custom field name is just simply bill to, and then field type, this is the type of information. So let's say you had a house, let's say you wanted to track whether or not these owners or tenants or whomever have dogs, right? You just want to know if there's a dog there or not. So you can make a true-false field, and you could name the field, is there a dog at the property, and then you can do a true-false statement. What we're going to put in here always is text field. So you've got all quotes, transferable field, the custom field name is bill to, and I want y'all to do these right now. Just get it set up right at the beginning. Field type is a text field, and we are done. Create custom field. So now that custom field has been created. So we're going to go to custom fields again. We're already in here. And the next thing we want to do that we're going to start on here, same place to all quotes, transferable field, custom field name. This is one that you definitely want to have on here, is tenant contact. Now, your client, again, is the property manager, right? So you're going to have the property management's contact name basically at the top front center of every job, and that doesn't leave a place for you to put the tenant's contact info. And you want to have that in here, and you want to have it somewhere that's quick and easy to find. Let's say you're driving around town and you're going to be late to your next job. You need to call that tenant and let them know. So instead of pulling your phone out and going through a bunch of stuff trying to figure it out, you just grab the form that you printed out for this job, which I do anyways. I print all of them out and take them with me, and you're going to have this tenant contact info right at the top. This one, same, is going to be a text field, so you can put, it's alphanumeric, letters or numbers that you can put in there, and create custom field. And then we're going to do one more field, guys. This is the last one. Add field to all quotes, transferable field, custom field name. Extremely important is the work order number. Now let me tell you what the work order number is. It's not always going to be called that. They might call it a job number, a meld number. They've all got their own software they're using on their end to track all of their business. And they've always got some kind of code that's getting attached to each job that's a unique identifier for that job. That needs to be on all of your paperwork that you exchange back and forth with them. Otherwise, they have to go pencil it in, and you're causing them more work. And a professional business doesn't go around causing extra work for their customers. So work order number is the name of this field. Again, this is going to be a text field that you want because it's alphanumeric. You can put whatever you end up needing to put into there and create custom field. So now you've got all your custom fields made. Super easy. Let's come over here and we're going to create, right off the bat, a quote. So, client name, let me get out of this, make sure y'all see everything. I'm going too fast perhaps. Quote for, So hit that plus sign, client name. It's the only client that you happen to have at the moment, so that's the client. And then the street address, we're going to say they're at 5487. Now, do you see how this is auto-filling here? This is going to be really great. So I'm going to just let it guess a bunch of things. 5487 South, how about Kolb Road, Tucson, Arizona. So now it auto-filled everything. It knows what addresses are valid addresses. And you can put an address in here, like say you have a property that this just doesn't find. You can still create the property without the autofill, but I really do love the autofill. So now what you're doing here, as soon as you click this, is now you're going to have created your first property under your client. Create property. There we go. Now I'm going to show y'all something else I do on every single job, whether it's quotes or whatever, it doesn't matter. The very first thing you're going to do is you want to put a job title. I want you to trust me on this. It's necessary and it's going to help you out a lot in the future. Highlight and copy the address, not the Tucson, Arizona part, just the address. And then paste that in here, because you're going to need to be doing some searches for these later. These are also going to come up in email titles when you automatically email things to people. So we're doing 5487 South Kolb Road. Let's say leaky toilet. And this is just a short caption just so that when you spot this, when you read that title real quick, you just know right off the bat, oh yeah, that's that leaky toilet on Kolb Road. So now you've got the title, bill 2, let's just say Ray Duke. Tenant contact info is whatever you want to put in here. Let's say 520-456-7878. And let's go ahead and put the dashes in there. It's a little easier to read. Boom. So now you're going to always know where to find your tenant contact info on your work order. And the work order is always some weird mixture of numbers and letters most of the time, because they have a system that's just auto-generating it based on different pieces of data. So now you're going to put in your product and or service. This is how I manage my jobs. This software, guys, can be used a multitude of ways, and you should feel free to experiment, but I'm going to show you how I do it. If I'm doing an estimate, then I'm going to say labor, and I'm going to put in the labor. I'm going to write the entire labor description out here, but I'm not going to do that. Right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, because this is how I do my business, labor and materials. So if you noticed, it had a drop-down menu for labor and other things. I'm making my own now. So if you want one that says labor and materials that you can just always grab from that because you don't want to itemize certain jobs, then you click this add to products and services, and automatically this is going to become a new drop-down for you. So it's a service, name is labor and materials. You don't need to put a description in here if you don't want to for labor and materials, because you'll add your description later and you're not going to put a set price on it. But this is going to come up in my future videos, because another good service of Jobber that I'm now using, been using this for months, and it's going to probably take another year to get it done, but I'm standardizing a whole lot of my jobs with set pricing. So I can come in here and say this was just a toilet replacement. I can actually make this a set thing for toilet replacements with a set price, so that when I'm doing a quote for a toilet replacement, I just click that drop down and boom, it's going to throw the prices in and everything. But anyways, we're creating this. Now you have a permanent labor and materials tab that you can click quickly. And labor and materials, so when I'm making this job, what I'm trying to give to myself for just the product and service is I want to remind myself of exactly what the job's going to be when I show up. So this is a leaky toilet, and I'm going to say tenant reported that the toilet is leaking at the base. Because let's say that's exactly what my property manager texted to me. He texted and said, hey, the tenant said the toilet's leaking at the base. You're not going to worry about quantity or price or any of this other stuff right here, not yet, because you're not invoicing it yet and you don't know what it's going to cost because you haven't shown up yet. So let's see. Yeah, that's all done. So now you have your quote created. You don't need any of that. This is all going to come into play later, guys. There's a lot of functionality here, but I'm not trying to confuse you with all the functionality. This is a basic job right here, right now. So you want to hit Save Quote. Now this quote has been saved. Now something else that you can do is down at the bottom there's going to be a save and send if you want, but I always save them first so that I can look at them and make sure everything's correct. More details. So this is what you need to do to send the quote. You're going to come up here. Now you can send it via text message if your property manager prefers that. Mine really all want them to come via email. So you're going to go to More Actions and you're going to go to Send As Email. And then there's the email. I used my new email address I created for this, but that would be your property manager's email address that would auto-populate there. You can also customize all this, and I'll do a video on that in the future as well. There's videos to do on all of these in the future. But now it's auto-populated it, and you simply click Send Email. Now that you've done this, now your client, your property manager, has received that email. So let's come over here and open up Quotes. Now they can approve this quote from their end, just so you know. In fact, that's what it's designed for. They can sign and approve it from their end. So here's the quote, and as you see right here, it says awaiting response. Well, I'm not going to go and respond to myself because it's just me, but if they approve it, it'll get approved. But they can also, let's say they don't want to log in and approve it themselves, or they can't, or they forgot, but you find out, hey, they said go ahead, it's approved. Well, now you can go ahead right here and click Approved, mark as approved, and now it's been approved. Here's the beautiful part. Now, convert to job, and your quote has now been converted to a job. You don't have to go in here and create a new job now for this. It's already been created. And if you see, because you called it a transferable field over here, now your tenant contact is on your job, and your work order number is on your job, and your bill to is on your job. So now you have a job, guys. And here's what you do is, assuming that you've scheduled with a tenant, you're going to call them or whatever. And yep, okay. So assuming that you've scheduled with the tenant, let's say that the tenant's scheduled for May 23rd. So you click May 23rd. Start time, let's say 8 a.m. There we go. And you can assign it. So I'm going to assign this to myself, but with Jobber, I think with a grow plan that I'm on, I can have something like 15 different people I can assign stuff to, and when I do, they'll receive that job and they'll have their own phone app, and they can do it over the PC as well, but they'll receive that job and they can go take a look at it. But this one, I'm the only team member at the moment, so it's assigned to me. You can say remind me to invoice when I close the job, or you don't have to, that's up to you. And, oh, by the way, if you haven't scheduled, you can click Schedule Later. There's actually a reason that I use Schedule Later a lot, but again, that's another trick for another future video. There's lots of functionality here, and I'm not trying to confuse y'all. We're going through the basic setup. So, labor and materials, this entire job now has been created. Oh, did we get the title in? Yep, the title stayed the same, so see where you put that in, it transferred over as well. The title is the same as it was on the quote. Come down here to the bottom and Save Job. Now you've created your first job. So now that you've got this job created, let's say that you went to the house and you completed the work. So this is your visit. So when you made the schedule, when you scheduled this job, it created for you a visit in here. This is going to be when the date and time you're going to show up. Once you finish, you click on this visit and you mark it complete. And then you say close job. Now you've got this whole job in your software, so your client can see from their end now, if you want them to. This is all customizable. If you don't want them to know, they don't have to, but my clients really like being able to see it, and I'm proud of what they're going to see, so I have them with access to all of it. So now you've closed out this job, right? Here's your billing invoice reminder right there, but you can just go to the top. This big green button is Generate Invoice. Now once you get to Generate Invoice, you're going to highlight this, and you could copy and paste this from the last screen before you click Generate Invoice if you want. I hope Jobber is going to do something about transferring that over, but often For other industries that this is used for, you don't always want everything to transfer all the way, so you do still have all this info has transferred for you, but the title of your work order is not necessarily always going to be the title of your invoice. So I've copied that. I'm going to paste it. There's the address again. I'm going to say leaky toilet again. And now this is the subject line for my invoice. And we go down here, labor and material. So now that we've finished, what we're going to do before we invoice is we're going to say, and pay attention to how I write this. It doesn't have to be the most descriptive thing in the world, guys, but they appreciate good grammar, good punctuation. They appreciate some articulation of what actually happened. And part of that reason is the homeowner is going to be paying this invoice. And let's say you charged $250. The homeowner wants to know, what did my $250 go towards? It didn't go towards fixed toilet. That's not a description of what you did. So if y'all just want to watch while I type, because I'm not going to be good at typing and talking at the same time. Okay, so arrived on site and found toilet to be leaking from base as tenant reported. We removed the toilet from the flange and found that the wax ring was deteriorated and leaking. We removed the wax ring and installed a new wax ring. We then reinstalled the toilet, caulked around the base, and tested the toilet through multiple flushes to verify that the leak is no longer present. We advised the tenant not to use the toilet for 6 hours as the sealant sets properly. And the price, let's say we're charging $250 for this. Boom, there's the price, just like that. Client message, if you want to put a client message in here that they'll see from their view, you can, although you don't have to. Now down here, internal notes and attachments. You can upload photos and stuff into here. You can send notes back and forth between yourself and your guys if necessary, but that's where you would put stuff that you are not necessarily trying to show your property manager. And then now, at the very end, we're all said and done. We've got this whole invoice, the subject lines there, all of our info transferred, description and price, and then we come down here, save and. Now see, you can say save and send as text message, or save and send as email, or save and collect payment, which would be more if you have a consistent client, like say you're a pool cleaner, and once you're done, they're okay with you just running that all through every time. But what we're going to do is save and send as email. Now we've sent that email, or no, we haven't sent it yet, so it's going to be going to, it'll autofill your client. Now if you have like 6 property managers at one address, you just click here and start typing. You can type in another manager and another manager and another manager, and then when you do the save and send as email, you can pick which one you're going to send it to, but for now it's just me. So oh, and if you want, send yourself a copy. I started out doing that. I found all it did was just fill up my mailbox with a whole bunch of copies of all the work I was doing, and I don't need it because I have Jobber and it's keeping everything done for me. So, send email. Go ahead and close that out. So, you sent your email. Now it's been invoiced. So, let's say you have direct deposit set up and they went ahead and paid you. Once they've gone ahead and paid you, you come back in here and open up this invoice. In fact, let's go home, just so we're not at the easy part. So you're on your home screen, and let's say they send you a payment. It comes through the bank and you need to go mark it as being paid. Now if they use a credit card through Jobber's software and pay through Jobber, it's even better because then it just automatically does a lot of this for you. But let's go to Invoices, open up Invoices, and then once you open up Invoices, this is the only one we've created. You click on that invoice and open it. And here's how you close this job out fully because you've been paid. Collect payment, and we're going to come down here. For me, it's always bank transfer. It's literally all of my property managers, unless I request a check every now and then, it's always just a direct deposit. So you want to click bank transfer. You can put the confirmation number in there if you want. You can add details if you want. I don't because it takes time. And click save. And now client balance is updated to $0. The invoice is closed out, and guys, this is your first job beginning to end. There are a million more things that I'm looking forward to showing you in here in the future. I would imagine I could make probably 100 more videos, easily 100 more videos on 100 different things that I use this software for. But this is the basics right here. So when you get a simple one-off job, I've just taken you through the whole process. If you want, you come over here to Invoices and see now it comes up under Paid instead of awaiting payment. And you're all done. So next on the list is on the 14th. I'm releasing this. This is the 11th. If this is ready to release today before I go to bed tonight, I'm going to release this tonight on the 11th. Otherwise, I told you it was coming out on the 12th, and that's when it will come out. And then on the 14th, I'm going to do a live stream, and I'm going to schedule this live stream. I'm actually going to set it up on there for y'all to see. Make sure you click the alert button so that your phone lets you know that I've started that live stream. If you want to set that time aside after you've played with this a lot, when you have questions, go ahead and join that live stream, and the whole purpose of that live stream on the 14th is literally just going to be for me to come in here and sit down with you guys and just answer as many questions as I can. So I want to thank y'all again for joining. I want to thank y'all for following me like you did, for subscribing, for getting me to the point where Jobber chose to sponsor this, and I just really appreciate y'all. So I hope this is super helpful. Please, please, please use this right away while you're still in your free trial. Use it with your property managers or other clients and ask them their feedback on it, because I think they're going to tell you that they really like it. So y'all have a beautiful day. I hope you're all out there killing it. It's been a pleasure.